It's a beautiful day, and we bid you welcome to Sports Republic right here on Voice of the People TV, the 27th day in the month of November 2024. An amazing Wednesday morning it is right here in the city of Lagos where we're broadcasting from, and we bid you welcome. This beautiful Wednesday morning is not going to be any different. We have so much lined up for you. And yes, my name is David Edwin. Well, I'm not alone this beautiful morning. It's going to be an interesting conversation. And I can tell you for free that this morning, a lot is to be said, and a lot is carefully to be heard. This morning, we have some interesting, I call it breaking news as far as Nigerian football is concerned. And we hear some sources from the NFF say that a certain Jonathan Hill, former Manchester United youth coach, will be most likely the man to take over from Austin Serezo once he leaves the interim position of the Super Eagles coaching position. Is this something that we should be celebrating, or is this something that we should be questioning? A lot of persons would have come out to say, why Jonathan Hill? That question and more is what we'll be talking about this morning. And we only would ask you to also be a part of this conversation by going straight to our comment section on YouTube. We're at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Do well to subscribe if you've not subscribed already. And most importantly as well, interesting, do best to also have your voice heard. I'm not alone this morning, and I really cannot do this alone, because I really wanted him to say this to be a part of this conversation. Well, it's a beautiful morning, and I have with me in the studio this amazing morning, Ikechukwu. A very good morning to you, Ike.
Good morning to you, David, and good morning to our viewers. You can't do this alone, because obviously you're not a Liverpool fan now.
I'm not a Liverpool fan.
So you cannot walk alone.
I saw that coming. Once again, good morning to you, man.
Good morning, David.
Well, interesting news. We're just going to dive into the conversation almost immediately because, like I said earlier, former Manchester United coach Jonathan Hill has expressed his interest in the vacant Eagles coaching role if and after the departure of Austin Serezo. Now, in a recent statement, Hill's questioned why he has not yet been appointed, highlighting his readiness to take on the challenge of guiding Nigeria's national team. With his extensive experience in European football, Hughes believes that he can make a significant impact on the Super Eagles. And as the Nigerian Football Federation considers his option, sources in the Federation has also mentioned that former Cameroonian coach António Conceição, of course, is another top option, even as the search for a new coach intensifies, with many eager to see who will take the lead in shaping the team's future. António Conceição and Jonathan Hill. Ikechukwu, this is where we are. Another name have popped up.
We'll see a shawarma one day.
Oh boy.
But the thing is, okay, I think these options are way better than the Lombardia and co that we've been listening to.
Yes.
Because of the level they've handled. This one from Cameroon and the other one, United youth team. We've seen top managers, graduate from youth team. Enzo Maresca is one from Chelsea, and from City. We see what he's doing with Chelsea. Vincent Kompany also. Many of these guys actually, once it's a top club in Europe, I don't have issues if you come from the youth ranks. They've given a lot of opportunities, and most of them have turned out to be great. When they grab the opportunity. So if it's Jonathan Hill, the question I have is that the British way of playing, or Manchester United way of playing, is it the Nigerian way of playing? Because I see every team has its DNA. They have the way they play football. That's why it will be almost impossible to see a British man excel in Spain because the style of play is different.
When you say British man, a player or a coach?
A manager, actually.
Okay.
A British manager excel in Spain because style is different. And if a Spanish man comes to England, they struggle. Except for Pep Guardiola, who is, way above everybody. These sort of managers don't come all of the time.
Okay.
Certain managers move from certain countries to another country. They struggle because let me give you an example. Every country in the league across Europe has a particular team that plays the way their national team play. Bayern Munich, German national team.
Okay.
Manchester United, Liverpool, English national team. So you can go on and on. Like, so when they pick managers like that, when managers come in and the manager is trying to play different from what the national team plays, it actually makes them struggle. Okay. So, but they can go to middle table teams and all of that to excel and to a certain level. That's why you see managers like Lopetegui, who was once a Spanish national team coach, came to England, he was nowhere to be found. Because the system is different. Football is all about DNA. So the question now is, Hills, does it have what it takes to take Nigeria at the top of the hill? Oh, well,
that's a serious rhyme. If Hills has what it takes to take the Super Eagles at the top of the hills. Okay, we're going to stay on that. But let's also let you know, interestingly, Jonathan Hill has a very, very interesting CV, and I'm just going to reel out a few. Interestingly, average team as a coach that he spent, the life span of him as a coach is 1.30. That's almost 2 years as a full coach. Now, his managerial skill has been coming from assistant manager in Rotterdam in 2022, assistant manager at Exeter City in 2022 as well. Streamlining it down, he was a manager at Tromsdalen, of course, director of football at Sheffield United, assistant manager at the same Tromsdalen after coming back and forth. Fulham assistant manager. So he's had that record. In fact, his biggest, just like you did mention, is the youth coach. I don't want to call the under-18 assistant manager that he was under Manchester United, but he was the youth coach under in Manchester United as well in the year 1999, and of course under-18 coach 2001, under-18 of Manchester United. So, looking at that record, do you think that Jonathan seemed to be like a man that has a bit of what it takes? Don't forget, he has a UEFA A license.
Like I said before, if it's about his CV, I think he's qualified. He's right up there to actually take the job. Okay. Way better than the other names we've been hearing. What I'm simply concerned about is the fact that can he actually, work with his Nigerian DNA? Now, the man that actually revolutionized Nigerian football, the Dutchman, Westerhoff. Yes. Actually, if you look at the way Nigeria play, after Westerhoff, because he actually started it, we play like the Dutch. Yeah. Now, this man, this Hills, the British don't play like the Dutch. Can he actually? Because here, we can go all about talk, back and forth about how his CV is impressive and all of that. A chef, the best chef in the world. If the best chef in the world cooks, say for example, jollof rice with snail, and give it to someone who doesn't eat snail, that food will be rubbish. Okay. Right. Okay. So no matter how good you are, if you cannot actually adapt to the system of if you cannot actually adapt to the Nigerian system, you're not giving us any result. And this is one of the reasons why, with all the things Pasero took us to the final, a lot of persons were complaining, we don't play that way.
Now, if we're going to talk about how we play, there is another name that, did pop up, and that is the person of António Conceição. A lot of persons have, said, Conceição, for the love of it, is clearly the man that a lot of Nigerians might want to be looking at because his CV speaks volume. Now, do you think that Conceição, in comparison to Jonathan Hill, can make a difference with the Super Eagles? Not forgetting the fact that the last time he coached was in 2022, and that, of course, is with the Cameroonian team.
What I'm saying is that like I said, the both of them have what it takes at this point. They're actually a step ahead of what we have, in terms of coaching.
Okay.
They've handled a big national team as well.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here now is about the fact that can they actually adapt to the system? See, you can have all of the resume in the world, everything. If you can actually play the way the Super Eagles play, if you can actually utilize the boys, because this man, he's a British man, and what he's bringing is his own philosophy.
You're talking about Jonathan Hill?
Yes, Jonathan Hill. What he's bringing is his own philosophy.
Okay.
The man who coached Cameroon, he's bringing his own philosophy.
Now, I'm going to hold you on that. The man who coached Cameroon, António, the former coach of Cameroon national team, has said that, confidently asserted that the Super Eagles will qualify for the upcoming World Cup. In a recent communication with the Nigerian Football Federation, he emphasized his belief in the team's potential to play entertaining and competitive football under his guidance. His comments come as the Super Eagles prepare for crucial qualifiers and, of course, with fans hopeful for a fresh coaching approach. Now, the word that I want to pick there, or the words I want to pick there is entertaining and, of course, competitive football. Under this man, António Conceição, did Cameroon play any entertaining football?
That's a beautiful question you just asked. That was where I was going. You tell me, I tell you,
But don't you think these are because of the kind of players he had?
No, I don't think so. The Republic of Benin, the Cheetahs of Benin, they played entertaining football against us. They dominated the midfield against us in that game. They have the quality against us. They don't. It's the coach. Manchester City today, the quality of players they have, they are not as slick as many clubs in Europe, but they will play you hands down. It's the coach. We have teams that, peer for peer.
Yes.
They are not as good as other teams. But when they get into another person is Roberto De Zerbi's side. I'm talking about Brighton. Roberto De Zerbi.
Yeah.
They don't have the quality in the middle of the park that much. But what they've got is the team and the system that works for them. Whenever they are playing against a team, they will outplay you. So, see, it's not about, yes, we know.
So sorry to cut you thought. Don't you think as well that Conceição at this time is looking at the kind of players that Nigeria possesses?
I'm not saying
and he believes he can give and deliver this particular style of football for us.
I'm not saying, it's impossible for him. The question is, I tell you, say, fine. You tell me, say, you get picture of our house. If you show me, I go believe. I've seen you with Cameroon.
No, but with Cameroon,
I've seen you with Cameroon.
They do not have the kind of players Nigeria have presently at the time when he was coaching them.
I just give you an example. Benin Republic.
Benin Republic, he was not the coach at the time.
What I'm saying is that the quality there is not even up to the Super Eagles, but they dominated the midfield against us.
So again, just like you said, it's about the coach.
It's about the coach.
Conceição.
So we've seen him in Cameroon.
Are we going to judge him from what we saw him do at Cameroon?
You are as good as your last job.
So why are we not judging Pizarro from his last job before we appointed him?
Yes, of course, it's Nigeria. We can hire shawarma, we can hire anything. So it doesn't change anything.
Goodness me. Goodness me.
It doesn't change anything. You know these things now.
He's not going to keep me here today. But really, Conceição,
we can hire a grade C coach.
Conceição seemed like he truly wants to get the job done. And of course, from what he said, Nigeria is
a big brand. Everybody wants Nigeria. Nigeria is like candy. Every child wants it. Everybody wants Nigeria. So forget he wants to do the job. Nah. Nigeria is a big brand. He knows the importance of getting the Nigerian job. It's another step for him.
Okay.
We're the biggest country in Africa. Second largest, I think we are third now in economy.
So fourth anyways.
Okay. So we are that big. Everybody wants to be the manager of Super Eagles.
Well, it's another interesting conversation because what I wanted to ask you before now was you said the style of play, the identity of the Super Eagles before now. Would you say that we still have that identity or we've lost it. And then we're looking for somebody who would help us re-identify that style and, of course, build on the progress.
Okay, so let's even talk about identity. Go to every country in the world. Don't even look at the league. If you can, go to, get snippets of videos of these countries, how kids play football on the road in Nigeria. You see that's the way we play football. Look at how kids play football in England on the street. That's how they play football. Look at how kids play football in Brazil. You see the samba and you see everything.
For the benefit of our viewing audience who possibly do not know how kids play football in Nigeria, what style do you think?
Okay, so we like to be very entertaining, right? Okay. We like to be very entertaining, showboating, pass the ball, make your opponent feel almost useless, render them useless. Just the same way Pep Guardiola. Of course, not the tiki-taka, because we like to hold on to the ball, entertain, dribble, pass, and all of that. Fluid football. That's how we play. We don't really mind if we concede. Not like it's good to concede, but we just want to win the game in a beautiful way. This is one reason one problem Pasero had with Nigerian fans. He got us to the final. Why should we sack him? But because we are not enjoying the way he set up his team. We don't like to defend. It's not our way. We are an offensive side naturally. So if you tell me an offensive side, if you're an offensive side, it's expected that if it's 90 minutes, you're supposed to get advantage of the ball at least 70 minutes of that entire 90 minutes. Or 60 at most. Okay. Or sorry, at least. So now, when you play a team that you're better than, we know we're better than this team in terms of quality, why are we sitting back? This is the problem we had with Pasero. So if he's coming and he's telling us, I'm talking about Trincao, he's coming and telling us that this is what he wants to do. We look back and like, okay, we might want to argue that the Cameroonian style is different. Perhaps that's why he played that way. Again, looking at the country he's coming from, are they playing an open-ended football?
But he's a Portuguese.
Yes, I agree he's a Portuguese. I'm saying we've seen Portuguese managers across Europe. We've seen the way Portuguese play. Okay. See, any man or any manager who has managed an African side before, for me, the best bet, the man I would have wished we got at this point is Javier Renard. The man that took Zambia all the way.
Why do you think Javier Renard would do the difference?
I've seen him manage African sides. And I've seen him manage. If you look at that Zambian side that won the Nations Cup in 2012, yes, you understand. You see a man who is dedicated. You see a man with huge philosophy. Like the way he set up his team, they were difficult to play. Okay. Always moving, and that's how the Super Eagles play. With less talent, he won the Nations Cup in 2012 against all odds. But then, in his absence, any of these two will do for me because I believe their profile is bigger and the players will respect them. Because one thing is, when players don't respect managers or when players don't see managers as someone who is above them at the level they are in, it's difficult to actually pass information. I mean, if you walk into a classroom and you see your teacher, a grade A, your teacher is an SSC holder and is teaching you chemistry 101 in the university, you're like, what's one thing?
Now, looking at it from the perspective of players not respecting managers, do you think that's about the reason why the likes of Victor Osimhen and Finidi George did have that fallout?
Absolutely. One of the major reasons why they had that fallout is, Finidi being a Nigerian with less exposure in terms of coaching career compared to what Osimhen is used to in Europe.
So you think they can and they will respect Conceição or even Jonathan Hill?
You go fear him. If you don't even respect him, CV, you go fear with everything appear like.
Interestingly, you just mentioned CV, and I just want to reel out a little of the person of António Conceição. He last managed, like I said earlier, the Cameroonian national team, but before then, he was with Club Rouge. And some of the clubs I'm seeing here, quite an interesting and fascinating one for me. NFL, he also did manage. Nice Salamis, and of course Club Rouge as well. Alpha Salier, quite a number. He did the Braga B side, and he went ahead to, his CV is really huge. But would players like the Super Eagles players, just to mention a few, some that we've had issues with the manager.
Forget it.
Would they even in any way?
He's a foreigner, don't respect him. You don't even have to start.
Why do we consistently think and go this line of
neocolonialism?
I have to respect the foreign man.
Neocolonialism. We are yet to shed out of that.
Don't you think that it is the fault of the NFF who has not given the full power
it's actually not
to the coach?
No, it's actually not the fault of the NFF.
You think so?
No, it's not. Another reason why they won't respect them is the fact that the coaches, our local coaches, are yet to actually manage top teams in Europe. I'll give you an example. Let's imagine a Vincent company is a Nigerian managing Bayern Munich. If he steps into the Super Eagles job, they'll respect him.
Okay.
Because he's commanded respect outside in Europe. And this is why I was clamoring the other day that if you are a manager in Nigeria, it's that point, it's that time where you have to look outside, go to Europe, even if it's Estonia, go to one of these countries and manage a league team. Do a very short coaching course at some point, get one or two contacts, even if it's just to understudy Pep.
Okay.
Or any of these top managers.
But there was a certain name in Cien who managed the under-19 side of the US that also said he wanted this job, but he was not given the job.
Well, the thing is, see,
and he's a Nigerian.
See, let me tell you, managing the under-19 side of the US is not enough.
There's also the John Utaka, who is with, I think, Montpellier, if I'm not wrong.
Montpellier.
I mean, he's a Nigerian.
Which level is he managing?
Come on.
Yes, you have to look at the level he's managing.
Whether or not...
No, you cannot tell me...
You just said if you're managing a club side...
That's what I'm saying. If you manage a top...
Outside...
If you manage... See, I used the word Estonia. I said if you manage a club side in Europe like Estonia, for example, now you move, upgrade yourself, and go and understudy top coaches like Pep or any other top coach. So, okay, let me be part of a back room for this season. From there, you get... See, it's a project. You line it. Say, in the next 6 years, I want to be the Super Eagles coach. This year, you do this. Next year, I want to understudy you for the next 2 years. After these 2 years, I want to handle the under-19 team of, say, for example, Lazio. And you get the opportunity, 1-2 seasons, you manage the under-20 team for, say, for example, Juventus. If you manage to win the league at that level with the under-20 side, trust me, you get a big call. That's how you move. Most of these guys that we see that are it's easier for ex-players to actually get this kind of role. Coaches that are not ex-players, most of them pass through this phase.
Well, I wouldn't argue less on this because a certain Wayne Rooney, after playing for Manchester United, have journeyed through, I think, 2-3 clubs now.
That's how you do it. You don't wake up one morning. Okay, just imagine Wayne Rooney, because he's one of the biggest in Europe in his prime, say, okay, I want to manage Greece. They were like, where are you coming from? Being a good player is not the same as being a good coach. Interesting. These guys actually value, competence. And competence comes with years of experience. All right, well, let's get to it. In case you just joined us, it's still Sports Republic right here on Voice of the People TV. And our main topic of conversation is the fact that news reaching us from the Glass House is that there are indications that these two men that we've been talking about, the person of António, the former Cameroonian coach, and of course, Jonathan Hill, Jonathan Hill is the former youth coach of Manchester United, most likely are the top two in the ears and the eyes of the Nigerian Super Eagles team. Well, this is the conversation we're having, and we'd love you to have your voice also lended on this conversation. And how best to do that is to go straight to our comment section and pen down your comment. What do you think of these two guys? Would they take us to the El Dorado? Or like Ikechukwu did say, would Jonathan Hill take Nigeria Super Eagles to the top of the hill? Interesting times. We wait to see. Let's move to another conversation where Ashley Planter is excited to join the Super Falcons for the French international, or for the France International Friendly, not French International, France International Friendly. Well, Ashley Planter has expressed excitement at being named in the Super Falcons squad for the upcoming friendly against France. The talented defender, who has been making strides in her career, views this selection as a significant opportunity to showcase her skills on the international stage. Planter's inclusion underscores the depth and talent of the Nigerian women's national team as they prepare
for this challenging encounter. Ikechukwu, Nigeria, France, Super Falcons, and of course the Blues of France.
Well,
international friendly,
it's just
anyway.
a friendly game. So, but this is the sort of friendly games we should be playing.
Yes.
Grade A friendly game. The French women's national team, very strong.
And I take real importance with this kind of friendlies, because honestly, it does not only help you do better, but of course help you do better on the rankings.
Yes, of course.
So whatever kind of result you get with the French national team,
even though
it will spell on your ranking.
True. Even though I'm not a fan of the FIFA ranking,
yes,
I don't even believe in what they do there. But then I'll say this: playing against this sort of team actually improves you. That's the key point for me. Like they say, iron sharpened iron.
True.
Right? And the French national side is, that's level. At that level, Nigeria is arguably the biggest in Africa.
Yeah.
France is arguably the biggest in Europe.
Yeah.
So we can have the conversation. When we want to play, we should play like for like. This is the kind of friendly.
One of the reasons why I was really hurt when that game against Argentina was cancelled, that friendly game against Argentina, because I'd actually felt that yes, we were going to really have to see the strength of our full players having such grade A friendlies. I mean, for me, it's another pointer to the fact that yes, we can get it right when it comes to these friendlies. All right, let's move from there on to another interesting conversation, still talking Nigeria and of course Nigerian football teams. Bendel Insurance not in a rush to find a new coach. Now, in the light of the recent departure of coach Monday Odige, Bendel Insurance has announced that they are not rushing to appoint a new manager. Club Secretary Akinwumi emphasized the importance of carefully evaluating potential candidates to ensure the best fit for the team's future. You think this is a good move, Ike?
Well, when something happens like that, the worst thing you want to do is to rush into taking decisions. That's why they say the worst person that should give you an advice is a very happy person or a very sad person. Because at that point, he'll be reacting to his emotions,
right?
And most times, emotions don't help you to get the best decision.
And to think that they just have a new governor, the person of Monday Pebble, I'm talking about those things.
It's part of the reason why they actually hold him back, because a new governor has to actually sanction it. The money is going to come from him. Well, whoever it is that is going to be in charge of sports for Edo State going forward under Pueblo is actually going to be, the link between the governor and the club side. So all of this has to actually be in place before they get a new manager. It might be, as they be now, my own person. Do you know this person? How far may you bring her home? Oh, well, what an interesting time. Still talking Nigerian football and, of course, the NPFL in anticipation for a crucial Southwest derby. We're talking about the fair officiating sort of by Southwest derby in anticipation of the crucial Southwest derby against Remo Stars and, of course, 3SC head coach Benga Ogumbote has called for fair officiating to ensure a level playing field. The coach expressed concerns about how officiating decisions could influence the outcome of the match, urging referees to prioritize fairness and transparency. 3SC Remo Stars. Ogumbote trying to really speak tough right now. Of course, talking about officiating. Managers talk about these things, and when there's no reason to cry, they won't cry.
But it's possibly would have been that antecedent is making him say this.
That's what I'm saying. If there's no reason to cry, managers rarely cry. Some things must have happened over time, and we know how Nigerian Professional Football League referee are actually not really.
Don't just come on. I won't have you do that to our league. It's not just the Nigerian referee.
No. The conversation is about Nigeria.
Hogman as well is faulty on this part.
The conversation is about Nigerian league.
Yeah.
So let's have a Nigerian league conversation.
Okay.
So there's a book. There was a book written by China Cheru.
Yeah.
Who is actually a journalist.
China Cheru, the former media officer of Heartland, I think. Is it Heartland of Owerri? I can't remember now. Rivers, yes.
The book was titled 1,000 Times on the Road. And trust me, if you read that book, you know what the Nigerian league referee does. So for Benga Ogumbote, who is a veteran in the league, in terms of coaching, to be calling for fairness at this point, that's the only thing he should be calling for. He just wants fairness. And this is a very big game. Shooting Stars is a household name in the Nigerian league.
Yeah.
Remo Stars are arguably the most informed side in the league.
And one of the most performing teams.
They're just I think a point behind Rivers United, triple toppers at this point.
Yes.
So it's a very big game going into that game, and he knew that this is Southwest Derby. Emotions will be high. We need the best referee and the best officiating to get the best game, the best of this game. Very
true, and I truly would agree with that, really, because officiating have to be top notch when you're talking about these kind of derby. I mean, it's like the Liverpool-Manchester City game this Sunday. They've started calling for referees that would have to get it right.
True.
I mean, this happened.
This game is like the Barcelona Espanyol, the same city.
Manchester United, Manchester City.
The same region, yeah. Manchester United, Manchester City, the same region. So this sort of games.
Or even AC Milan, Inter Milan. Anyways, let's move from that conversation because we have a whole lot to share with you today. Let's get to the interesting part of the fact that Ademola Lookman and, of course, former Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea, who, of course, buys the trade presently with Fiorentina, have emerged as joint top performers in the Serie A. According to a recent assessment following 13 rounds of matches, Lookman's remarkable form has played a pivotal role in Atalanta's strong campaign, demonstrating his strong scoring abilities and, of course, influence in games. Meanwhile, David De Gea's impressive display has solidified his status as a key player for the team, showcasing his team as a formidable goalkeeper. Ikechukwu, these two people, David De Gea and, of course, Ademola Lookman, emerging as a joint top performers in the Serie A. Is this a testament to the fact that they've been really doing far more than the job as it stands?
The rejected stone became the chief cornerstone.
Please don't do that to me, because right now it's your hot team.
David here, we saw him at United. I mean, 2 seasons before he left, he was United's best player. He saved United.
4 seasons before that time, was United's best player.
He saved United over and over again. But of course, every manager comes and then they choose who they want. Pep Guardiola did it with Joe Hart. People were questioning why did he let him go. But then people have long forgotten about Joe Hart. Manchester City has been winning, and life has been good. For United, David De Gea left. The results became disastrous. Anana was celebrating goals like a birthday. Anana at 60, Anana at 70.
I predicted 70.
It was that bad for United. Now for Ademola Lookman, he's that young chap who's travelled through the youth ranks of the English football. He won them their first under-20 World Cup, and then after that time, he came back to his homeland to play for Super Eagles. We saw his magic at the just concluded Nations Cup. And he did also that against Victor Boniface's unbeaten team, Leverkusen in the final, where he scored a hat-trick. The first African to do so. And then he's been so on fire. The game against Napoli, the league toppers, he demolished them right there at their home ground. 3-0 it ended. And trust me, what more can we say? Football, like I always say, football, the best team, you look at, if you want to have a very balanced team, have a front man that is, dangerous, a goalkeeper that can save you when you least expect.
Oh, well. You truly have it.
A man in the back line that, sees everything, just like John Terry. And in the middle of the park, the one that steadied the ship. And Atlanta seems to have it. They might not have all of the quality, and their coach might not be at the same level with António Conte. They've been doing so well, and this has brought the best out of Ademola Lookman. And David Gea emphasizes the fact that I've been talking about what a manager can actually bring, and that's exactly what Gianni Gasperini has brought to Atalanta.
Oh well, congratulations to these two guys, Ademola Lookman and of course David De Gea on that particular one. Let's move to another interesting conversation, and of course still talking Nigerian football and of course Nigerian football players. The promising defender of the Super Eagles, I'm talking about Gabriel Rohr, is on the verge of signing a new 2-year contract with his League One side following yet another impressive performance that included a clean sheet. I mean, these solid defensive contributions have been instrumental in the team's recent successes. Do you agree with Gabriel Rohr's 2-year contract extension?
Well, if top clubs in Europe are not calling for him, the French Ligue 1 is actually a good league. He's playing at the highest level in France. So let him keep doing his job. He's still growing. He's still quite young. He's still got a lot in his tank to actually give. So That's, I mean, the most important thing is playing consistently.
Yeah.
So if he's not playing consistently, why would he want to do that? So the fact that he's playing consistently is just over time. He's definitely going to shine brighter than.
And I also like his inclusion in the Super Eagles. He's also bringing in that squad depth, which is what we want in the Super Eagles. All right, let's move from there on and let's let you know that Rohr, former Super Eagles coach, is calling on PSG defender Colin Dagba, and of course, who is presently eligible to represent either France or Benin Republic, to commit to Benin Republic's national team in their upcoming clash against Nigeria. I don't know what Rohr is trying to plan, but this young man, I'm talking about Dagba, Colin Dagba, he relatively looked like a fantastic defender that might, help his team do better in the nearer days. In one sentence.
Well, the truth is, defenders really rarely have much say when it comes to games like this, because they are just to defend. They are not the people who actually, of course, we know their influence. They actually control backline and then talk to the the rest of the team, give them more confidence and all of that. But when you have a potent forward, Dagba is not bigger than the defenders that the likes of Victor Osimhen, Demola Lookman, Alexi Iwobi, Paul Onuachu has faced over time.
Rohr did make mention that yes, he once also spoke to Ademola Lookman, who did not respond to him almost immediately. He had to take him 2 years extra before he did respond to Nigeria. So talking to Colin Dagba, according to him, might just be something that he needs to start off. So in the nearer days, he might decide to commit to Nigeria. Who knows? He might even say, I beg your pardon, Benin Republic. He might decide to just make the decision now.
Well, the point is whether he agrees to make the decision now or not, it doesn't change anything. All we need is a good manager that can utilize the potency we have up forward. Dagba is not in the leagues of the likes of Virgil van Dijk. He's not even in the leagues of the likes of Tar and Co that plays for Leverkusen and that Ademola Lookman demolish. He's not even in the league of top defenders in Europe that the likes of
let's move from there, because we have very, very few. I mean, so much to serve you today. Now, interesting conversation did happen yesterday. South African Hugo Broos says he will step down if the Super Eagles should qualify ahead of the Bafana Bafana. He will step down as a coach. That statement.
Let the Super Eagles make his wish come true. That's the only thing, right? See, the Nigerian-South African issue is even beyond football.
Right.
Right. Xenophobia, economy, Amapiano, Afrobeat. We've had so many. There's this rivalry every single time.
Yeah.
Right. So the pride is always, even if I don't win the league, just like Tottenham, let Arsenal not win it. It's a thing of pride.
Oh my goodness.
It's a thing of pride. So going into this qualifying World Cup qualifiers, it's a very big one. That's why I felt so bad that Nigeria is lagging behind at this point. But then again, we have to win all our 6 games. And if it means to honor Hugo Broos, let him get his wish of retirement, gentleman agreement, let him have it.
Anyways, if you're going to leave me, I will just tell Hugo Broos. In fact, I used to call him Hugo Bros. The day I said this thing to Kizzy, Kizzy laughed. Yeah? Now, the wish of Hugo Broos, all Nigerians will keep their fingers crossed and hoping that the Super Eagles will make that wish come to pass, because there is no way in the world that we have this level of quality when it comes to African football and we would not qualify for the World Cup. I mean, that would be a very, very painful thing to do. But then again, we're going to go on a very, very short break. When we return, we will be getting straight to all that happened in Champions League yesterday. So many games did happen in Champions League, and Pep Guardiola, we don't know what's happening. All of these and more when we return after this break. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It is still Sports Republic right here on Voice of the People TV. David Edwin still making it happen. And of course, like I said earlier, I'm standing in for Kizzy K, who is unavoidably absent again. And you know it. He really, really has to get all of the in-swings right. And of course, recuperate from all of the in-swings. And when he comes, he will be dishing off the passes. And if you can score goals, you definitely know you'll be scoring goals with him. I'm still here with Ikechukwu, and interestingly, we're having some interesting times, and we'll just be jumping straight to the Champions League games that did happen yesterday. If our producers are ready, can we have those results? Now, I'm going to really stay with Pep Guardiola. What do you think happened, and what is happening to Pep Guardiola, Ikechukwu?
It is the same thing that happens to a woman when she hits menopause. The same thing that happens to a man, when he hits 40.
No. What happens to a man when he hits 40?
Midway crisis. It's the same thing that doctor will tell you at 40, you start experiencing, yearly 1% drop of your immune system. It's the same thing that happens to the biggest and the strongest world power in the world that crumbles over time. Olympus fell, the Egyptian Empire fell, Greece fell. It's the same thing that happened to Real Madrid, between 2000 and...
Ikechukwu, at the Etihad, 3 goals were thrown away.
Exactly my point. I was saying that every team suffered decline. In economics, they say the law of diminishing return. You have to get it. It happens to every single person.
This is something out of the ordinary, really.
It's not out of the ordinary, actually. Football...
For a Pep Guardiola side to have gone 5 games beaten...
And 6.
And the 6th one without a win.
It tells you that he's a human. If you're thinking he's an alien from the space or whatever, this is the time to start believing, okay, he's actually a human after all. Right. It happens to the best of us. The biggest of all would definitely... It's the most important thing. It happens to Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury went into depression. He came back, became world champion. The biggest of us suffer defeat. It is how we come back from that defeat that matters.
Okay.
So I felt a very, very big pity for him yesterday, because you see Pep Guardiola for the first time, and what you see in his eyes is confusion. What exactly have I not done
What's happening?
What exactly have I not done right?
Right.
It takes my mind back to Pep Guardiola before he left Barcelona. Perhaps he spotted that in Barcelona. Maybe he's yet to see that in Manchester City.
And he just committed. He just committed to the job.
That in Barcelona, they asked him, Pep Guardiola, why did you leave Barcelona? He said he looked at the team. At 23, they've all, aside Messi, they've all won the World Cup, won Euros twice. They've won the Champions League. They've won the Champions League more than once. They've won the league on multiple occasions. And what else? How best can I motivate these guys? Now, looking at this Manchester City side, they've won everything. Some of them 4 league titles, some of them 5, some of them 6. So it goes back. Now, the big question is, how do I motivate these guys? So I think what Manchester City is suffering now is a mental shift.
Somebody says a law of diminishing return.
True, that's it. It's mental shifts. You're so used to winning that you don't even know what losing feels like. You're so used to winning that even when you win games, you don't even know you've won.
Feyenoord for me yesterday did come to the party a bit late, and yes, the fact that they came in a bit late, they scrappled a draw. I mean, getting to equalize at the Etihad, it's not a joke.
That draw felt like a win, actually. And these are the words. These are not my words. These are the words of Nathan Ake.
Oh, yes.
He said the draw felt like a win. The draw felt like a lose for them. Yeah, so that particular game, Manchester City were in control of that game. Nothing was wrong. They played that game, but then that's sleep.
All right. Let's talk about the biggest scoreline of the night. Atletico Madrid going away 6-0. Let's have that particular picture on the screen anymore. 6 goals. What did they do right?
The Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone are actually way bigger than the team they played against. So it's expected. Going against this particular opponent, we expect Atletico Madrid to at least get the result right. And La Rana, the man who Manchester City sold to Atletico Madrid, talking about Julian Alvarez, got the first 2 goals. And it was a party all through for them. They just enjoyed themselves right there. See, this is exactly what Manchester City, people were expecting Manchester City to do, but then they want to do it. Just like, the Christians will say, the body is, the spirit is willing.
But the
body is weak. The body is weak. They just cannot understand what went wrong yesterday. And their next game is Liverpool. Are they going to make it 7? This was a question we were asking yesterday. Will this be redemption time for them against Feyenoord, at least to give their fans something to cheer?
But really, Diego Simeone going away to Sparta Prague, it's a major for an Atletico team that before now we know them not this high scoring side. Getting 6 goals away from home is huge.
Well, it's not like of course, yes, they're not high-scoring side.
Definitely, that's the part that a lot of us know.
Because of how he set up his team.
Yes.
They're a very compact side. He prefers to get the 1-0 and then lock
up shop.
That's how Argentina naturally play.
Yeah.
Argentina as a team, as a country, don't play the high scoring. They just get the goal and then win the game. That's how they play. Now, playing against Sparta Prague, which we all will agree that they are head and shoulder below Atletico Madrid. It's expected that Atletico Madrid should get a result like this with the quality of players they have in their arsenal, and of course the attacker that was actually one of the best in Europe, if not for Erling Haaland last season that stopped him from actually playing regularly.
Let's get to another conversation. Arsenal Football Club doing the unthinkable, going away to Portugal and getting 5-1. Against a Sporting CP side.
Well, I might not say I expected the 5-1, but I expected Arsenal to win.
Okay.
You know why? One, the absence of Ruben Amorim. You might want to say it doesn't matter. Arsenal will still win if he is there. I agree. But then, the fact that Arsenal...
I think Arsenal could have won if he was still there.
Yes, still very much. Arsenal is still a better side than Sporting.
So was City not a better side?
City is going through a phase.
Okay.
City is going through a phase, so you cannot actually...
Ademola Lookman on the bench, 6-1 it ended.
It shows they've
going
got
away
team.
to young boys. Atletico Madrid.
It's so good.
Atalanta.
It's so good, and it shows they've got a team outside one man. That's it. It's important. It shows they've got squad depth. Yes, you want to talk about the quality of the opponent. Young boys are actually minors in football compared to an Italian side in the Champions League.
And an Atalanta side that just won the
Europa League. Yeah, so they're like the second biggest team in that particular bracket. In terms of how you rate them in Europe, the first, which is Real Madrid, the second Dortmund, and of course Atlanta. These are the rankings, according to how they won trophies in Europe. But then going into that game against the Switzerland side, young boys, I think it's expected of Ademola Lookman's team. I'm talking about Gasparini's side to actually get the result right. But maybe we might not be expecting them to get this much because they are playing away from home. But it tells you that Gasparini has really done so well for that side, and it's not a one-man team.
Company's team, Bayern Munich, defeating Luis Enrique.
We talked about that game yesterday.
1-0.
I was saying I was expecting PSG to actually get the results because of the experience of Luis Enrique over Vincent Kompany. But then also I know that it's going to be a very close call, and this 1-0 scoreline reflects that the game was actually a very close game. Congratulations to Vincent Kompany's team. Another
interesting conversation. Lukeba getting the only goal for Inter Milan yesterday against an RB Leipzig side that we felt were going to play more compact.
It's always going to be a very close side. I mean, the both sides are compact. The manager, Diego Simeone, fantastic job he did for Inter Milan. And it's the San Siro. It's a fortress. Get 1 goal and seal it up. Inter Milan did what they had to do on the night, and they got the result. And congratulations to them.
All right, Bayern Leverkusen, 5 goals against Salzburg. That seemed like a goal too many, don't you think?
Again, without Victor Boniface, another Nigerian out, it shows it's not a one-man team for them. I mean, they got to the final, just like Atlanta FC, they also got to the finals, and they both spanked their opponent with more than 4 goals And it shows that the both managers are doing something and they are not over-reliant on one particular player. It's a very good sign for them, and I wish them all of the best.
Chukwueze was in that game for AC Milan, and they went away to Slovan Bratislava. They defeated, of course, AC Milan won that game 3-2. You think that is another plus for the young man?
It's a good night for, the club sides. We have our boys. They all had a very positive result from AC Milan to
Atalanta
and to Atlanta. So yes, Chukwueze's team actually did the job and expected actually. Maybe we might be saying the scoreline is too big because of how we expect AC Milan to be able to hold their own, not to concede too many. But of course, considering that they're playing away from home, the 3-2 scoreline is actually a very good one. The most important thing now is that they've gotten the 3 points, which is the very very basic in football.
All right. Well, if our producer are ready, there are some games later today, and the one that would really interest everyone is the Liverpool game that a lot of persons have been saying, can they really hold on Don Carlo's side? The Liverpool game would be another interesting game for so many when it comes to the world of football. I mean, the beautiful game of football. And of course, you know for a fact as well that Monaco also are playing today. If my producer is ready, I need that up. But then, because of our time, we also need to rush out. We also need to rush out and let you know that, yes, just yesterday, Inter Miami did have... okay, yes, those are the games later for today. You have Krasnodar playing VfB Stuttgart. And of course, Stormgrass will be at home waiting for Girona. Club Rouge will be going away to Celtic. And of course, Bologna will be playing Lille. Aston Villa, Unai Emery has come out to say we're ready for Juventus. And of course, that will be later tonight. PSV Eindhoven will be taking on Shakhtar Donetsk. Dynamo Zagreb, of course, will be taking and, of course, hosting Borussia Dortmund. The game I said is going to be the big one is the game at Anfield, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and not forgetting Monaco, Benfica. This game, Liverpool, Real Madrid, what are you expecting?
No, Vinny Jr., it's going to be a very big one. Liverpool is on the ascendancy. I think they are the most informed team in Europe at this point. Arne Slot's side has been really doing very well. I mean, it shows the huge gap in the Premier League at this point. You know, about 8 points. I think 8 points exactly. So it's a very huge game. If they beat City over the weekend, it's going to be 11 points. And I know that they will want to get a positive result so that they'll consolidate on that towards the weekend. So it's a very big game to watch. But Real Madrid, when it's Champions League, it's a different football. We
gotta go. The time they say fly where we're having so much fun, and this is where we have to draw the curtain. Final word, and of course, while you're taking your final word, Gallas has urged Arsenal to get Victor Osimhen. What do you make of that? One sentence.
Let's wait for the season ends.
Okay. Final words. Before we let you go.
Well, David, thank you for having me, and for our viewers, thank you for staying tuned. All
right, we gotta go, people. So much thanks to every single person who made this production possible. All of the guys at the back, from the producer, I'm talking about Ike Chuku, and of course the Ingers guy, Alex, Manfred, Amarachi, Rose, Jerry, the sound guy. All of you guys did amazing well, and we appreciate you. And of course, you out there that have taken your time to watch us, we want to say thank you for always being here. As we go, David Edwin saying do have a beautiful day ahead. Don't forget to always wait for Nigeria. There is no great nation like ours. Have an amazing day ahead. God bless Nigeria.